Well, thanks everybody for joining us today for another episode of Smart TV. My name is Curtis Howe, here to help you with your business, improve your business, make it work better. So today what we want to talk about is why customers leave. What are some of the big reasons that businesses lose their customer base over time? An obvious one that does come up quite often is that you have poor customer service. And really, I mean, if you think about it, let's even step back a little bit farther from that as well, and talk a bit more broad about this perspective. One of the biggest reasons, and this really summarizes up pretty much everything that happens in your business, is one of the reasons that you have problems is that what your customers want and what you offer are different. That's really what it comes down to. The customer's expectation is different from your expectation. And that discrepancy is what causes a tremendous amount of problems for you in your business. So you want to be aware of this and realize that those are some of the potential issues. Okay, most everything that comes down to in dealing with you and your customers is because their expectation is different than yours. So there's a few things that you want to do to take care of this. One is do your best to understand your customers' expectations. What do they really want? What do they expect from you? And that can mean, what do they expect from you in product itself or your service? What do they expect in the user experience or customer experience, working with your business, talking with your employees? If you have a physical location, then what is the expected experience they want to have when they come into your place? Is it a friendly, happy, positive place? Is it not? Is it more self-service? What is it? Those are the kind of things you want to look at, is what is that customer expectation? So surveys is a great way to do that. Have opportunities to sit down and do interviews with your customers. Some companies use even like a community recommendation board. They pull a bunch of people in from the community. They ask them a bunch of questions, gather feedback, focus group type things. Those things will help as well. So gather information in. And really, the essence of it comes down to make sure that you're spending time talking with your customers. What do they like? What do they not like? Where are they happy? Where are they not happy? All of those things are going to make a huge difference in making sure that you can have an effective experience in working with your customers and making sure that those two expectations match. That is super, super important that they do match. Now, with that, what you want to look at is diagramming or charting or documenting customer expectations. You can look at some of the industry norms and standards that are out there. You can look at feedback that your competitors are getting. What kind of feedback are they getting on certain things? Oh, do we do that as well? Okay, that's not a good thing then. All right, so let's look at that. You can even go look at the reviews online for your customer, or not for your customer, excuse me, but your competitors. What are their customers saying about them online? And if they're complaining about a certain thing, well, let's make sure that we don't do that same thing in our business as well. So there's a lot of different ways that you can gather that information in to help you and make sure you understand what is that expectation that your customer has, and are you meeting it? And if you're not, how can you improve and adjust to make that work? So one thing that's important, and this is something, if you're running a marketing agency of any type, especially on the social media side, here's a good tip for you. And this is one of the things that we have learned through our 6 years of business and helping companies use social media effectively. Most of the time, when we sit down and talk with a business owner or a manager about their business and what are their goals, what do they want to accomplish in doing online marketing and other things like that, when we ask them about those things, they always say, we need more exposure. We want more awareness, more exposure, more followers. Those kinds of things is usually a main thing that they tell us. What's interesting, and unfortunately we did learn this the hard way at the very beginning when we started our business, was at the end of our contract with that customer, they would come back and say, hey, we're going to cancel with you. And we'd say, well, why? Why are you canceling? And they would say, well, the reason we're canceling with you is because we didn't get enough sales from your efforts. And I would say, well, that's not what one of the criteria was when we started this contract. It was growing your awareness and exposure, and we definitely did a great job at doing that. And they said, well, what we really meant was sales. And so the reality is you want to make sure that you're listening intently to your customers. And sometimes what they say and what they mean might be a little different, but to understand them, where they're coming from, why is that important, all those things will make a big difference to help you in making sure that what you're doing and how you're doing it is going to match the customer expectation. Now, one glaring place that this is so huge in is in customer service. A business that has poor customer service is so in trouble these days because it's so easy for people to talk about things, leave bad reviews, share bad experiences with your business, and spread that message out so fast that it's not worth having bad customer service. It used to be that businesses could get away with having some bad customer service because they wouldn't tell that many people. You know, if a restaurant was bad, well, that person wouldn't use it. Maybe their family and friends wouldn't use it, but there's still tens of thousands of other people in the community that will use it. So, but now this message can spread globally, literally. So you want to realize that. And customer service is a huge differentiator in businesses. If you do a really good job of customer service, that alone will give you a leg up over your competitors. Makes a big, big difference. So just realize that, okay? One thing you want to always look at is what is that customer expectation of us when they have a customer service challenge or an experience with us? Are we prompt? Are we nice? Do we seek to understand the customer? Are we trying to write them off and protect ourselves? Are we badgering the customers? Are we blaming the customers? You know, what is going on in that experience? And that is one of the easiest places for a company to get feedback. Partly because if you have a bad customer service experience, you're going to hear about it. Look for those things. Find customers who have had a bad experience and go talk with them. Hey, what was it that you didn't like about it? How could we make this better? All that's going to help you out so much. And then look at what other people are saying about your competitors and other companies out there that do good stuff. Oh, maybe we should try something like that. Maybe we consider improving this way. So look at all those things and figure out what is that expectation. And a lot of this is common sense, guys. It really doesn't take much to think about this as a business owner and go, okay, what is the expectation that our customers would have of our customer service? You'll probably, if you ask yourself that question in all honesty, you'll probably get 90% of the way there to what you need to do. It really isn't that hard. So, but ask it. It's not, I think a lot of business owners are afraid of asking that question, but you got to ask it. How do we help with our customers? If our customer has a problem, what would be the best way to respond to this? Do we respond to, hey, that's not my job? Or do we respond with, oh, we'll get that taken care of and help you out? So these are very important things to realize in your business. Now, the more you have repeat sales or you have high turnover traffic in your business, like a restaurant, then the more this part makes so much sense to make sure that you dial this sucker down and really do a good job of it. So that's one thing that'll help prevent customers from leaving, is that customer service. You know, a friend of mine was actually just talking about an experience that they had at a restaurant a while ago, where they sat down, their server came in, took the order. 45 minutes later, they still hadn't had any food, and no one had come by their table in 45 minutes. They were getting ready to leave when the manager walked over and says, hey, I apologize. We just discovered that your server took your order and then quit. They never put your order in the system, so we found it on the paper back there. So we just got it in. We're very apologetic. We're going to bring out a bunch of appetizers for you guys to keep you busy and satisfied while we bring your food out. By the way, your food is free tonight. So that manager went to great lengths to take care of that customer. That is awesome. It doesn't guarantee that you have to do that in your business, but you need to realize that there is an expectation your customers have. You want to make sure that you are doing your best to help them understand that and utilize that experience to make sure that you stand out in your business. If the customers have a good experience with you during a customer service problem, that alone makes a huge, huge difference. You know, I got some really great advice from a good friend of mine years ago when I was in direct sales. I was out selling fire safety equipment, and we were working hard, and stuff wasn't the least expensive stuff on the market, but it was some amazing quality. And he told me a story once when he was out selling, and he had a day where 10 of his customers had canceled their order and wanted to get a refund of their money back. And he was so distraught about this. But what he did was he showed up at the customer's house. He called them, hey, I heard this, let me come by. So he stopped by their house and he had a check written out to them that he handed them right off the bat. He handed them a check for the full refund. He said, here's your money back. Now I want to ask you some questions about this. What's going on? Why are you canceling? And those things. And miraculously, it was amazing. And I wish I could remember the exact number he said. If he's watching this, he'll probably correct me. But I think at least half, if not most of those customers ended up keeping the cell. They kept the products. They gave the check back and said, no, we actually have decided now, thank you for explaining things. We're okay. And he saved a ton of cells. Now, why did he save those cells? And I think a big part of it was because he was willing to work with that customer instead of badgering them, instead of coming up with restocking fees and other baloney that sometimes companies come up with to say, oh, you need to talk to this department, you need to talk to this department, and blah, 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 blah. And, we're going to lay this out and we're going to play games with you to make it so frustrating that you can't cancel, basically. And that's not a good thing. And so what he did is he was prompt. He talked to the customer. He gave them their money back first, so they weren't worried about it. And that helped a lot. I even had a customer that I had several people actually when I was doing direct sales that called to cancel and then were amazed at how prompt I was at responding back to them. And they just said, I just wanted to cancel just to see what you guys would do, which drove me insane. But they were so turned off by customer service from other companies that it was just a knee-jerk reaction to see what would happen. And they were so pleased that I was prompt and willing to work with them that they kept the order. And that's a similar situation what my friend had. So customer service is important. Get feedback. Do not be afraid to talk to your customers. That is super, super, super important. Now, on the sales side of things, one challenge that a business oftentimes has is even getting customers to come in and see them. Part of this can be because of what you offer. Again, it's not matching the need of the customer. This happens a lot where a business, somebody gets an idea. They want to create a product, they get it out there, and now they try to figure out how to convince people to buy it. That is the wrong way to build a business. Absolutely wrong way to build a business. You can talk to the gurus like Steve Blank and others. They will tell you that's horrible, okay? What you want to do is build a business around the problem that a customer has in their life. Build your business around the problem that a customer is having in their life. That will help you so much to make sure that, again, what you're offering is exactly what they want. And that doesn't require you to talk to your customers. Get out and discuss things with them. Ask them questions. Those things make a huge, huge difference. Do surveys with your customers. Find out what works, what doesn't. What do they like? What do they don't like? What are they expecting? And what do they think they're getting versus what they're actually getting? Those kinds of things. Get that feedback. Now, there's a great book, Business Model Generation, that talks about how to do some of these interviews to build your business model canvas out to help you in putting your business together. As you're running your business, though, the other thing you want to look at is the same company that put out the business model canvas created another model called the value proposition canvas, and it's by strategizer.com. In fact, let me see if I can pull up that picture of it really quick. So this is the value proposition canvas that they came up with, and what the goal of this is to help marry together what are the pains and the problems and the challenges that your customer's going through, what are the things they want by solving this problem, and how can we deliver that to the customer. So what are the problems the customer has in their life? How would they like it to be if you solve that problem? What is their criteria? What's important to them? And how do we marry that together so that we have a great situation where we can then provide great value to that customer? So this value proposition canvas is amazing. Go to strategizer.com, GYZER is the end of that, strategizer.com, and download it. It's a free canvas you can download. It'll ask you a bunch of questions. You can fill out these forms to gather information for yourself, even use it to create surveys to talk to your customers. An awesome, awesome tool that you can use to help make sure, again, that what you offer is what your customers are looking for. So those are some things that you need to be looking at in your business to make sure that what's going on in your business is matching the expectation of your customer. Whether that's the product or service, it could be the packaging of it. It could be, if you're doing a service thing, what does the van look like? What does your guy look like when he shows up? Is he clean cut? Does he look clean? Does he have crap all over him? Is he wearing booties? Is he going to track junk into my house? All of that is customer experience. How does your technician treat the customer? How does the waitress treat the customer? All those things make a big difference. What about your online, if you do online products, what about your customer service there and connecting and communicating with people, using Facebook Messenger, social media to keep in touch with your customers? All of that, anytime a customer has an experience with your business, that's your customer experience. Manage that, understand it. What are the expectations, and how can we make sure that we are meeting at least those expectations, if not exceeding them? So those are some tools that you can use to help you improve your business. If you have a company and either your marketing doesn't seem to be working out right or you're losing customers, I highly recommend using Strategizer's tools to help you in understanding how you can be better and more effective at that. If you have other questions about online marketing, how to make your social media more effective, how to work with your customers more on social media, let us know. We'd love to answer those questions and help you out with that. So thanks for joining us today for another episode of Smart TV.